Hey there, this is Amy with Reveal My Voice. I am an online vocal coach and I've been teaching private voice students for over 17 years. When a student first comes to their lesson with me, we go over a series of questions that I have for them so that we can get to the bottom of what they need to learn really quickly. And one of the first questions I ask them is, how do you breathe? What is breathing? And what is breath support? A lot of times students come to me with a really unclear idea. They've probably been in choir, or they may have learned from another voice teacher who wasn't really crystal clear on what it is to support their sound. They just use terms like diaphragm and supporting the breath and flippantly thought that the student knew what it was they were talking about. Well, that's something I want to clarify really quickly in my first lesson with my student, and it's something I want to clarify really quickly with you today. It shouldn't be something mysterious that we keep only as a secret for only the elite singers. It should be something that all of you know about and can utilize right now today and get immediate results in your singing. So when we talk about the diaphragm, it is an involuntary muscle. It does not do what we tell it to do. It's going to do what it wants to do. So I like to just say, let's not even talk about the diaphragm. It is a real muscle, but it's something that we don't control. But what we do control is the airflow that we use out of our lungs. And we really utilize the muscles that are in between our rib cage. And so our rib cage actually starts right here and it goes down to this region here. And I'll get up in a second, but I want to show you that because a lot of people think about belly breathing and the sound originating from way down low, and that's just not true. Those are sympathetic movements. We might feel something down there, but really what we're directly focusing on is this area up here. So inside of the rib cage we have the lungs. The rib cage is the protection around our lungs. And as you know, they're not just in the front, right? We have our ribs in the back and in the sides. So this notion that we do only sing from here is really silly because our lungs and our rib cage go all the way around our bodies. So very quickly, what I would do if you were right here, and I want you to do this with me, is I would show you, and I hope you can see this, where I want to feel resistance when I sing. And I'm going to back up really quickly here. I want to feel this area expand. So when I breathe, this area here is going to expand. That's our inhalatory position. That's where it sits when we inhale. See that movement? It's just slight, and I can feel it in my back too. I'll try it for you here. Okay, did you see how that kind of blew up a little bit like a balloon? And I'm over exaggerating it. You shouldn't feel it that much, but I wanted just to show you where it is. Then we have these intercostal muscles in between our ribs. And these intercostal muscles resist, and they are antagonistic muscles that resist each other. And those muscles are going to lean into each other and create this support system for us as we sing. When we use these intercostal muscles, we are using what the Italians refer to as the appoggio technique. The appoggio is really engaging these muscles that are around our lungs so that we can have absolute stability, stamina, control, and strength when we go to sing. We have stamina so we can sing for long periods of time without hurting our voice. We're not going to be straining here. We're not going to be engaging a lot of muscle activity here. Obviously, we do have muscles here that work, but our main muscles that we're going to be using are these intercostal muscles, along with several others in this area. The other thing that it does is it allows us to have absolute control. You know, when you blow up a balloon and at the very lip of the balloon, you can pull and stretch and there's sound that comes out, and that controlled sound is that resistance. So we have that when we're singing as well. And we also have strength. This is our core. This is where it comes from. And we really want to make sure that that strength is engaged at all times when we sing. So when people refer to the diaphragm, just don't listen to it. And I say that really with authority. It's not something that we want to focus on as singers because we really can't control it. The diaphragm is controlled, however, when we utilize this appoggio and we resist using these intercostal muscles. And that appoggio is actually refers to the Italian word appoggiare. And that word means literally to lean into. So we're leaning into these muscles, and by doing that, we retard or we slow down the ascension of the diaphragm into its resting position. So that's what we do when we sing. Now, I've gone into a lot more detail on this in my blog post. It's called Let's Start at the Very Beginning. And that is our first sort of installment of learning how to sing, and breath management is talking about this whole idea of an appoggio. So I'm just going to demonstrate with you real quickly, and then I'll tell you where to go for this blog post that goes into more depth. When I go to sing and I utilize the appoggio, I keep it in the inhalatory position. So I take a breath and I go, I'm not letting go of this position while I'm singing. I'm not letting it deflate. I'm not letting it just go back to resting position. I'm keeping it nice and lifted. By doing that, not lifted, but expanded. By doing that, I keep my sternum lifted. The sternum bone is right here, and we want that to always be facing toward the ceiling when we're singing. So nice, noble posture, a good, strong, steady, but flexible support with the appoggio. Again, I've written a blog post about this, and I'm going to direct you to that in the links below. Please subscribe, and you'll get an email course that's going to go into 5 weeks of lessons on what we go through in 5 real lessons in a real private voice setting. So I really hope you will take advantage of that and get your 5 free email lessons by subscribing to the blog post. And also, please just subscribe to this channel. I really want to hear from you, and I want to know what you've learned. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I wish you wonderful singing. Thank you.